In business, every single day, a business owner has to make multiple decisions. Whether it is decisions of hiring, whether it is decisions of firing, whether it is decisions of closing the deal with the customer at the price the customer is asking for, or negotiating for a better deal, or to decide whether to do the work by himself or herself. And that's why it's important as a business owner to be clear about what parameters you need to consider for you to be able to make the right decisions, the decisions that will move you towards your goals. So in this video, I'm going to break down for you how do you make the right business decisions? What are the parameters you need to evaluate? And I'm going to teach you how to make the right decisions using a framework called the DECIDE framework. DECIDE. In the DECIDE framework, D stands for defining the problem. For example, consider this. You as a business owner are facing a challenge. You're not able to do sales consistently as a business owner because you're doing too many things in the business. And only when you are free or only when there is a crisis, that's when you're waking up and looking at who can I go sell my product or service to. So the problem statement here is lack of consistent sales activity. Now, once you've defined the problem in a given situation, then comes the next step, which is E. E stands for establish the end goal. Now, let's take, for example, in this situation, what would be the end goal when the problem has been defined as lack of consistent sales activity? The end goal would be to have consistent sales activity and consistent closing of deals so that there is consistency of income and revenue for the business. So the establishment of the end goal tells you what exactly you want to achieve in this situation. What is the desired objective that you're chasing in this situation in the context of the problem that you're facing? Then you go into C, the third step of decision making, where you consider all your options. So C stands for consider all your options. So now as a business, what are all your options to make sure sales happens consistently? One option could be you hire a sales team so that there are focused team members who are going out there and pitching your product or service to your customers. The other option could be that you automate sales by using digital mediums or digital channels of selling. You set up your own e-commerce channel or you sell as a reseller on other marketplaces so that the sales is automated. Or the other option could be you appoint agents and affiliates or you build a distributor dealer network who can sell on your behalf to their target audience, to their circle of influence. Now, once you consider all your options, you move to the fourth step. And the fourth step is to identify the pros and cons of every single alternative that you've considered. This is where you put pen to paper and you write down what are the pros of each alternative, what are the cons of each alternative, what do you have the skills and knowledge for, what you don't have the skills and knowledge for, what do you think is more doable and achievable, what do you feel is not doable and achievable, what do you think is relevant to your product or service, what do you think is irrelevant to your product or service. So you list out pros and cons of each alternative. So you list out pros of hiring your own sales team. What are the pros? You can hold them accountable. You can make sure that you motivate them, inspire them, train them. You can measure their performance. You can evaluate and give them feedback. You can determine what level of activity that they should be doing, what kind of effort they should be putting, and then you evaluate the cons. The cons could be that it will create a fixed monthly overhead for your business where you need to pay a salary no matter what, whether that person performs or does not perform. The cons could be you need to take time off to spend on managing the sales team, which you may not have. So you need to list pros and cons of every single alternative, pros and cons of automating your sales, pros and cons of making sure you set up a dealer distributor network or you appoint agents or affiliates. The idea here is this: before you make a decision, you need to do a detailed evaluation to identify what's the most suitable option or decision for you to make. Then comes the fifth step of the DECIDE framework. The fifth step of the DECIDE framework is to do what will move you towards your goals. Write that down. Do what will move you towards your goals. Now, you may say, Rajiv, what do you mean by that? When you evaluate the pros and cons of every single alternative, there may be a choice that may have lesser cons and more pros, but it may not be the most effective option for you to choose to move towards your goals. This is where you have to define where will I see maximum growth, where will I see maximum gains, and if it was any other form of decision making, I would have asked you to go with the idea that has the maximum pros and the least number of cons. But we are talking about how to make the right decisions for your business. And in business, you got to remember the rule. The decision that moves you towards your goals may require you to go outside your comfort zone. Because at the end of the day, maximum growth happens outside your comfort zone. So when you're making a business decision, make sure you are choosing the alternative that pushes you outside your comfort zone, even if it seems to give you short-term pain. Remember this, in business, you got to choose the pain of growth rather than the suffering of comfort zone. Many people make this mistake in their business where they choose a safe decision which will not push them outside their comfort zone just because they want to avoid the pain of growth, and they end up landing back in where they were, which is the comfort zone. And sitting in the comfort zone, nothing changes, it's just elongated suffering. So D stands for do what moves you towards your goals, even if it is painful, even if it is difficult. Look at what will give you maximum growth, what will give you maximum gain. And once you decide to do what will move you towards your goals, then you come to the last step of the decide framework, which is E. E stands for evaluate and monitor the progress of that decision and make changes on the go. Look, there is no 10 steps to build a successful business. At the end of the day, it's about making decisions that will give you maximum growth, maximum gain, and then through the process, as you execute those decisions, making corrections, making improvements, and creating progress in your efficiency, in your effectiveness, in your productivity, and in your results of that decision. So you got to evaluate, you got to monitor, you got to set up metrics that you can measure and see what's working, what's not working, what needs to change, and make those changes on the go so that you're constantly in this journey of progress. That is how you make sure that you make the right business decisions. This is the decide framework that you can use on an everyday basis to be able to make the right business decisions. Now, if you found this learning useful, I have one more decision for you to make. And that decision is, would you like to enhance your skills and your knowledge in building a successful business? If your answer is yes, then make the decision and click on the link below and register yourself for my upcoming 2.5-hour business success workshop. At the business success workshop, I break down for business owners what are the 4 types of businesses. I break down for them the characteristics of an owner-driven business, money-driven business, team-driven business, and a system-driven business. And then I help business owners understand how do you build a system-driven business, how do you build a growth business, what are the changes you need to make so that the business is not dependent on you, or the business is not growing only as a result of how much capital you can invest in that business, or the business is not dependent on some talented team members of yours who may leave tomorrow and everything may come crashing down. If you would like to learn how to build a growth business and how to develop systems in your business, then make that decision. Click on the link below, register yourself for my upcoming business success workshop. I look forward to seeing you there. Remember, make decisions that move you towards your goals. And I'm sure the business success workshop will help you move you towards your goals. I look forward to seeing you at the business success workshop.